Settlers from Spain, Great Britain, and the US arrive on the inhabited island of San Juan. Arguments break out, tensions rise, and conflicts emerge. What will come from such an intense dispute? Which country will back down? Only one thing is definite. There will be bloodshed. A minimum amount of bloodshed. Prior to the 15th century, San Juan had a thriving culture known as Velumi. The culture had migrated to the San Juan region 1,000 years before the arrival of Europeans, and had a steady population and rich resources at their disposal. Unfortunately, the resources of the island attracted Spaniards in 1521, and years later, Great Britain and the United States settlers migrated into the region as well. All three countries explored the region and laid their own individual claims to it, all while owning equal claims to a separate piece of land known as the Oregon Country. Conflict was only inevitable, as all three countries faced off in a race for power. Americans believed British presence interfered with manifest destiny, while British believed they had a legal right to be there. In the year 1846, the Treaty of Oregon was signed off, in which the 49th parallel was set in place, a boundary dividing what is now a portion of US and Canada. The boundary skewed the islands, and both the US and Britain claimed the entirety of the region in response.
I got here first. What are you doing? What are you talking about? What are you doing? I got here first. Yeah, I got here first. What are you talking about?
Slit mouth.
Let's settle this fighting with a 3-point contest.
While the territorial dispute continued, the U.S. Hudson Bay Company established salmon curing stations along the island's western shoreline in 1845, and then later the Belly View Sheep Farm in 1853. 18 Americans migrated to the islands to utilize its rich soil, and the British considered these land claims to be illegal and saw the Americans as trespassers. In summary, these territorial disputes grew tension between both parties. The crisis came in 1859, when an American, Layman Cutler, shot and killed a British company pig rooting in his garden.
I'm Peppa Pig.
British authorities threatened to arrest Cutler and force him and the other settlers off the island. The settlers reached out for military protection from General William S. Harney. Harney responded by ordering an infantry to be led by Captain George E. Pickett to San Juan. Pickett's 64-man unit landed on July 27th and encamped north of Belly View Sheep Farm. In response, British Captain Geoffrey Phipps Hornby was sent in an effort to dislodge Pickett, commanding at first only one warship and later on 2 more. Pickett refused to withdraw, but both sides were told to avoid clashing. Through July and into August, Hornby accumulated more Marines and waited for Rear Admiral R. Lambert Bayes for further instruction. Americans lived in the woods north of the sheep farm by late August, protected by cannons. The British remained docked and conducted shooting drills nearby, keeping the Americans in fear. Word of the situation reached Washington, and President James Buchanan sent General Winfield Scott to investigate and contain it. He arrived in October and managed to communicate with both leaders via messenger and arranged for each nation to withdraw. Scott proposed a joint military occupation until a final settlement could be reached, which both nations approved in November. On March 21st of 1860, British Royal Marines migrated to the island's northwest coast and established what is now known as English Camp on Garrison Bay. The conflict had been resolved. San Juan Island remained under joint military occupation for the next 12 years. In 1871, after both countries signed the Treaty of Washington, the San Juan question was referred to Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany for settlement processes. He referred the question to an arbitration commission of 3 men who met for a year total in the Geneva Convention. By 1872, they established a boundary line through Harrow Strait in favor of the United States, and the islands became American possessions. By 1872, all English troops withdrew, and by 1874, American troops did as well. The conflict was over, and the only blood drawn was from the pig.